I have Mark with me today, also known as Olive.Possum in RocketChat. NJ is on. Thanks for hopping on, NJ. And this is, interestingly, we made it to episode 12 of season 3. And that's a hallmark. We've kind of broken it up into 12 episode seasons. And it happens to be the last episode of the calendar year as well. And I think it's pretty cool that we have all of this awesome community stuff going on, and it kind of just came together. I approached NJ and I said, hey, I think I want to do this thing, and let's just do it. And so we did, and here we are. So I'm pretty excited. So Mark, thanks for joining me today. So for my Twitch viewers, this is a different stream than normal. Every other day it's Daily Squares and Chill, but right now I'm doing office hours with Arbitrage. Arbitrage is my username in the tournament, and I've been doing these series now. This is my 36th actual episode. I can't believe it. 36 in total. Season 3, episode 12. And Mark is joining me. He's my interviewee. And I guess we can probably get started, huh? I think I filibustered enough. Thanks for hopping on, Wiggle Muse. I'm sure we'll have something to chat about in a little while because we've been in RocketChat discussing some stuff. So everybody knows by now that I kind of give the questions out in advance. So no surprises to my interviewees as to what I'm going to ask. So Mark, where in the world do you live?
I live in Barcelona, in Spain.
Barcelona. Okay, great.
Yeah. I've been, except for a couple of years that I lived in London, I don't know, around 15 years ago. Apart from that, I've been living in Barcelona for my whole life.
Nice. You're our first guest from Spain. So
good to know.
Yes, first guest from Spain. Who's the closest to you that I've had so far? I guess I'm trying to think, either Christian in Germany or maybe AI Joe in London. So I've had some Europeans. But...
Okay. Yeah, you didn't have, Jordi has not been here, but he wrote the post of how he detects money in trading tournaments and stuff, and I've been in contact with him. But he's also from Barcelona, well, close to there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't keep track of everybody. Like putting the pins on the globe inside my brain is just too much to keep around. So you're in Barcelona. What do you do for a living? What is your job?
Yeah. Well, currently I'm working as I'm the general manager in a division of a company called Lifeful Connect. Okay, and Lifeful Connect, to wrap it up, I would say it's a network of real estate sites.
Okay.
We have aggregators and portals. Okay, and basically we help people like find a house. Okay, nice. We try to help people find a house, and I'm in charge in a division that leads all the technical part, marketing, product from portals in Southeast Asia and Latin America.
Great, that's pretty cool.
I would say, yeah.
Real estate's hot right now.
Sorry?
Real estate's pretty hot right now.
Yeah, indeed. But it's getting better. It hit really hard, like in the beginning, especially some countries in LATAM. But we're getting better.
Very good. What compelled you to pursue your current job?
That I would say that's an interesting or curious story. Okay, because I'm now the general manager of this division in Lifeful Connect. But actually, I got started in the company like 12 years ago. Okay. And I wouldn't say that nothing compelled me to pursue that job, but at that time, it was a completely different story. It was a startup called Trovit. It was a search engine for classified ads. When I started, we were like around 8 people there. Okay. And basically we're like building a search engine. And I started there as junior developer. Okay. Building, well, we had what it was called what it's called now big data issue. Okay, we were crawling many sites and store them in a database to be able to show in the search engine.
Big data seems like such a relative term now.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
depends on industry and who you ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At that moment, it was not called that way, but it was actually like big data because we were storing like lots of data there. I started as junior developer there, understanding how data work, how search engines work. And well, we kept growing. We ended up building a team for big data, I would say, and search engine, and it's the one I was leading. Few days later, I mean, we kept growing. We were increasing in traffic. We start like having more clients. So at some point, I became there the CTO of the company of the Trovit search engine. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. And at some point, around I would say 5-6 years ago, we were acquired by a Japanese company.
Okay. And that's where you get your Asia exposure from.
Yeah. It's, I mean, Trovit was acquired by this big real estate company from Japan. So yeah, my background has been always like technical and very related to and very data driven, I would say. Well, we were acquired by this Japanese company. We kept working on growing the aggregator, and at some point that company bought some other companies from some other real estate portals and aggregators. And we reached to the point that we started working all together and merging things, trying to speak the same language in terms of metrics.
It's called synergy.
Yeah, basically. And that's when I start working as a general manager, coordinating all the different portals. But yeah,
so you grew with your company, so like, yeah, that makes sense, and that's why you said it was a roundabout way of how you got there. You did, you weren't compelled, you were dragged, kicking and screaming all the way to the top.
Yeah, well, it's like the aggregator was like 8 people when I got in, and I don't know, now the whole group of real estate, it's like around 350 people, something like that. So yeah, it's completely, I mean, it's the same company, I would say, or I've been like following a line, but things are completely different. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very different when, I don't know, when you're working in the same office, like with 10 people in the same city, in the same place. And when you suddenly have like different offices across the world, you need to change communications channels, and
you probably have to take a lot of notes. I imagine, I'm just guessing. So Mark, what do you do for fun?
Yeah, well, for fun, the main thing I do is, I would say, sports.
Good, you didn't say work.
No.
Thank you. We have a real human being in our presence, folks.
No, I like a lot to do sports.
What do you play?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of triathlon. I did.
Triathlete.
An Ironman, like, I don't know, 4 years ago.
Hardcore.
Yeah, well, it was long ago, actually. Now I'm mainly running and going to the gym to lift some weights.
Lift the weight, my man. A little birdie told me that NJ is also a runner.
So yeah, for fun, I basically like to do sports. I mean, it keep me calm or relaxed. And then reading. I love reading as well.
You get to read. See, I don't get to read for fun, so I'm jealous. All I read is academic papers.
I always, I know. I've seen that that you are a lot into papers. No, I try to find, I don't know, like half an hour every night or something like that to read. Just decompress. And well, and actually for fun now I'm struggling with models as well since like a few months ago.
Yeah. Okay, so you're into sports. You get to read for fun, and I'm jealous. Anything else you do for fun that you want to brag about?
No, I would say that sports and reading are my main two things.
Hey, that's great. So this is kind of fun. On a scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Especially, I don't know if depending on how you consider weird. I don't know. I would.
It's relative, right?
Yeah, I could say, I don't know, to say something 7.
Oh, he's pegging the punching pretty high on the weird scale. What makes you weird?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Could it be your username, perhaps?
Well, my username, we can go later on this one. My username is the nickname that Quantopian assigned me to the tournament, and as this somehow was related, it's why I was using that. No, it depends. I mean, I guess that there are some days that I can be totally normal, and other days I'm obsessed with a thing or whatever. I can be quite different. I don't know, choosing movies, for example, I would say I'm quite weird. I don't like average movies, let's say. I mean, I prefer like independent or stuff like that. So in that pie would be like very weird.
So you're into cinema too. Okay.
Yeah, somehow.
Cinematography. That's cool. What are you not very good at?
Okay. Things that I don't do well, and they are they relate to job and to life in general, but I don't know, getting control of my emotions, for example. That's a thing that it's a very not good skill. It's not good to not have these skills in investment and at work, for example, but that's
true.
But that's the thing I'm working on, but it's a thing I would like, and being in control of my emotions. It's a thing that it's difficult to me. And
it's hard for a lot of folks, especially with investing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like kind of like the opposite thing, right? Like they say like you need to be like very patient and be in control. And for me, naturally, I would say I'm not. They say like I keep working on it, but by default, I would say it's a thing that by default I don't do.
And that's why you can pay people to do it for you.
Yeah,
takes all the pressure off, and it keeps finance people in business.
Yeah.
So here's a fun one. I like this question. We've had some really cool answers over the time that I've been asking it. If you could have a billboard or like a marquee, an outdoor advertising thing with anything on it, what would be on it, and why would you put that there?
Yeah, that's as well a quite like fun question, or or not expected one in the beginning. I honestly didn't know what to put in there in the beginning. Like should be an advertisement or what else? Then
whatever you want.
I remember like a couple of interesting things I read like a few days ago. They are not mine. They are from, I don't know, Twitter accounts, I think. One was like, the harder the workout, the easier the day. You know, I read that one and was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of true. And that's kind of interesting. And I don't know, in one hand, it motivates like to do sports, do not skip workout. And I think that
don't skip the workout. That's true. Like today I tweeted deadlifts are not optional.
Yeah, so kind of the thing, and it's honestly true that after doing sports like physically you feel much better. So I read that one and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So if I could publish that or like for everyone to read down, I think
inspirational. The harder the workout, the easier the day.
Yeah,
get your stress out in the gym. And everything else kind of melts away. I like to work out in the morning, and that's kind of why, because it gets me set up for the day, and I can just get to work. And then I'm genuinely tired by the end of the day because I've got my physical energy out, and then mental energy is exhausted from work. So yeah, I get it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So your billboard is the harder the workout, the easier the day. I like it. I can buy into that.
Yeah, there was another one interesting as well that I saw, and it said something like, you don't need another meditation app. You need unstimulated quiet time alone. And that one, I don't know. Especially now that, I don't know, we are on the lockdown and talking by myself. I spend like the whole day working with the computer. My hobbies, the building model part, and it's related to computer as well, or being in front of a screen. So yeah, I think like to relax or to meditate or yeah, it's another screen. It's not the best option.
Yeah, I stumbled into vinyl records. And so I've been listening to vinyl records. And what's nice about that is each side is no more than like 25, 30 minutes. And so you listen to the A side and you get like a timestamp. Every time it stops, you have to go flip the record over. And so that's a nice little break. I have to get out of my chair, I have to go over to the record player, switch it over, I have to choose the music. So it's like an active listening, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And it's not app based, so there's no algorithm, you know, it's literally I have to pick the thing up and put it in and start the tray. So I get it. I see what you're saying, you know, cut out on the tech a little bit as much as you can. Try to blend in some analog, I guess is one thing I would also add. But that's cool. Hey, I want to talk about you and Numerai. So now that we know who you are and what you're into, when did you start participating in the Numerai tournament?
Okay. I think I created the account in December 19. Okay, that's when I created the account. I'm not sure if I submitted anything around that time, because I remember that I was like, okay, I saw the website and I was like, wow, that's a really cool project. It must be stimulating. But then I was like, wow, but at the same time, it must be like really complex and I don't have the time now. The last thing I need is to get involved in more thinking and more computing and stuff.
Understood.
So, but I created the account and the first, on December 19. But then when I started like digging into it and researching and stuff, it was like June 2020. So that's what I did. Like, as I said before, I don't remember if my first submission was on December or not, but the first one that I understood a little bit what I was doing. You know, I had the time to research, to see how things work. And I actually regret a lot because the pandemic started in March. And I was like, okay, if I had discovered that like a few months ago, I probably would be much better now.
Well, you know, it's okay as long as you stick around. And yeah, so how did you find out about Numerai? You said you found the website, but what was the origin for that?
Yeah, I was thinking about that one, and I honestly don't remember, but there just can be like two different ways. And one is like researching for algorithmic trading stuff. I do that a lot. So probably in one of those searches, I hit it. And the other possibility was like in 2017 when there was all the hype of the altcoins and the hype in cryptocurrencies. I was like reading a lot on that, on researching, and that's the other moment I could have heard that for the first time. But I created the account in 2019. So at some moment, I don't know why at some point there I remember that, and that's where I created the account. But yeah,
a lot of people I'm finding through my interviews and talking to people, a lot of people start and stop, and once they get comfortable with it, then they stick around. I think compute helps too, but maybe that's a good way to ask the next question. What do you wish you had known when you started out, other than, you know, there was going to be a shutdown, you would have had more time? That's too easy. That's low hanging.
Yeah. No, a couple of interesting things there. It's like, as I said, I came from a software engineering background, and many years ago, I was a little familiar with some stuff related to machine learning, but I hadn't coded like for the last few years. Okay, and the first time I say, okay, I would like to build something here or to research, until I did it, there were a few months left, and I was like, yeah, machine learning, it's super complex. I don't even know the frameworks. It's like, I don't know. I haven't write that much code in Python, okay? But the truth is like, it's definitely difficult, but if you have like a hacker mindset, let's say, there are tools nowadays like sklearn, Keras, Pythons that if you have like a computing engineer and some math background, you can easily get something working. I'm not saying that you know exactly what you're doing at all, but
there's a lot of us who don't know what we're doing, but are doing pretty good. Yep. I resemble that.
But yeah, I think that it's definitely a high learning curve. And if you want to know what you are doing, it requires like a lot of know-how and skill that I don't have. But it doesn't mean that you cannot start. and get started and get learning. So the thing I would have loved to know, it's like there are nowadays tools that get you that let you kick off with machine learning, like not coding the pure algebra yourself.
That's right.
It's the thing I didn't know what like
if I had to code pure algebra when I started, forget it. I would have quit a long time ago and just stuck with Excel, and I'd never would have made it as far as I did. So I also have to credit those well-written off-the-shelf libraries to help me get started, because they take away a lot of the burden. They just do. So I agree. So you're saying that you wish you had known that you don't really need to be a hardcore coder in order to get started. You just need to know basic statistics and be willing to hack and figure it out. Like, do the work, right? Do the work, put in some effort, and you can do it too. And not saying that you didn't, but like perhaps you in your mind made it harder than it needed to be.
Well, I think that probably it's to get started, it's less complex. I mean, as I said, like to properly, I mean, I want to show a lot of respect for people that knows this thing well, right? So I'm not saying that you can just get there and do the thing like anyone else, but to get started and have something hacked and say, okay, I've submitted, and after submitting now I want to understand more, and that thing, it's easier than I thought because of the machine learning libraries that nowadays are in the market.
Makes sense. So what do you think is the #1 reason people quit? Like, why do they stop submitting, or why do they start and then just never submit in the first place?
Well, there are two things here. I think like the first one is like never submitting in the first place. It's like, for me, it's like in the beginning, it can be scary, or that it's like a lot of work to get the first submission, or that I think it's not, but it's what I felt in the beginning.
Right.
Okay. And the other one, it's like once you get started, why at some point you drop or you stop. And here I've seen like it's like the more you understand the data set, or the more you understand what you're doing, the more ideas you have. And of course, the more time it takes to develop them. I mean, like, okay, I want to do this with the errors, I want to group this, whatever. And suddenly, like, you find yourself at 1 at night, like coding wherever. And so, and most of the times, or at least in my experience, lots of these ideas don't work properly. Or you set them up, and it takes time for you to see that if they are working or not. And I think that this can be frustrating. Like, the more you understand the thing, sometimes, or the more you feel like the possibilities are infinite, and that the more difficult it's like to do the proper thing, right? And I think that that's a thing that could be frustrating at some point. Like, keep having ideas, taking more time, and the results don't go like in line. So I don't know that.
Well, maybe that can lead to the next question. What are your top 3 tips for the tournament? Because perhaps you'll have some tips for people that are in that spot you're talking about.
I want to remark all the time that I'm not an expert in data scientists and everything like that.
Everybody likes to say that, but we're all here participating in the hardest machine learning tournament in the world. And some of us are successful despite the fact that we think we're not experts. So I say that caveat. And I think there's a place for everybody here, regardless of experience.
Yeah, so I mean, tips that have worked for me, like, or during this month, my little experience here, it's one, it's like be organized and track and document your ideas and your cross-validation and everything. Because in the beginning,
notes.
Take notes and spreadsheet with the cross-validation results and stuff like that.
Keep records and notes and stuff that you've done so that you don't circle back and do it again.
Yeah, exactly that. Because then we can talk later about I use Google Colab, for example, and you put it there. It's like you spend like 24 hours doing cross-validation, and you don't write anything. And a week later, you say, okay, this parameter was this or that. And then you have to do it again, and you end up repeating things. So I think that having a methodology to test things and write everything down, it's really helpful.
What's your second one?
The second one would be like to spend time. understanding the data set, like plotting the errors, plotting the correlation between features. I mean, the more you understand the data set or the more familiar you get with it, the more ideas you have. I mean,
exploratory data analysis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, because in the beginning, I was like blindly doing things, but the more you understand, the more ideas you have, and it's more fun. I mean, it's like you feel like you know a little bit more what you're doing. So I think that exploratory analysis, it's an interesting one. And what else? I would say like scroll up RocketChat a lot and read the forums.
I know. I feel so bad because there's such good stuff in RocketChat. It's impossible to find it after a while. I wish we had a solution to that. I mean, the forum is the place, but like sometimes I don't mean to start a forum thread. I just have this offhand idea, and then it spawns a conversation. And so I don't know the solution to that. But you're so right. Check out RocketChat and scroll up. Look for the longer threads or like ones with very high numbers of reaction emojis. Like there's a reason that people are doing that. They're kind of tagging it. I wish I had a solution for that. I just don't.
Yeah. No, and you mentioned like the forum the forum as well. There's like a lot of super useful info there. Like, I don't know, custom loss functions, the time series cross validation, boosting errors. I mean, it's packed of info, but it's
really is
easy to it's easier to read, I would say. But I would say there's gold in RocketChat as well.
There is serious gold, serious gold in RocketChat. Some of it isn't any good at all, but like, that's not the whole point. The point is that if you read it, it may spawn an idea that leads to a golden nugget. It's just buried in amongst the coal. So what's this? When someone says something that seems smart, search for other discussions they participated in. I like that, Williams. That's good too. Try to glom on to people who say smart things, and yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Mark, what's your #1 feature request or improvement for the tournament?
Yeah, now that I'm more involved and I had like more ideas and stuff, one thing that I would like, I think it would be interesting, it's to switch staking as if you send money from one fund to another fund. You know, like instead of staking out and then staking in again, be able to switch, like if it was a portfolio, like if your models were a portfolio and you could rebalance the
good news, friend, they're working on that, sort of.
Nice one.
Sort of. And we're hoping that it'll be soon. Based on what we were told last week, the unofficial timeline was exposed a bit, and that could be New Year's-ish.
Okay.
Oh, here's a fun question. Who's your favorite team member?
Yeah, interesting one. I would say Michael Oliver.
Okay, Michael Oliver gets a vote, and he's not here to receive it. That's important.
Yeah, but basically, whatever he says on RocketChat or he writes, I don't know. I read it 5 times, probably because the first one I don't understand a single thing.
Me too.
But then after reading it several times, doing my own research with things related to that, I end up like learning a ton of things. So that's why, I would say he's like my first. I think like
awesome.
There are many.
The team's really great. Yeah.
No. I mean, and in the RocketChat in the community, it's super nice. Like, cause it's very easy to interact with people, and everyone is super.
It wasn't always that way.
No.
But now it is. So I'm very happy, and we're going to keep it that way. Collaboration is a good thing.
Good.
What are you working on now? Can you give us any tidbits? Maybe give us some.
Nuggets? Sure. Like regarding the tournament, I guess, right?
Yes.
I'm working with neural networks models. When you say like, what would you have liked to know before? I would say that one thing it would have been interesting to know before would be like PyTorch is quite more flexible than Keras. When you want to go to, and as I say, I'm not data scientist, so I might say things wrong, but in my experience, I think it's Michael Oliver who mentioned that. I read a 300 pages book in Keras, and after 20 days, I switched the framework to Python. So it would have been like interesting to know that before. But yeah, I'm working in MLP models with PyTorch, and trying to set batch sizes for eras, and trying to play with orthogonality between different models. And yeah, that's mainly what I'm into.
I think that there's a bunch of people trying that now based on, well, again, Michael Oliver suggesting these things with the custom loss functions and other things that he's working on. JRB is saying that Jax is better. So he has thrown down the gauntlet in Twitch chat. I have a question that I have a lot of younger followers in Twitch now. It just happened, and they always like to ask about career advice. And so this has become timely. I've been asking this for a while, even before that. But what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a data scientist? You're a hiring manager of sorts. You run a division. Yeah. So I think this is a very good question to ask you.
Yeah. Well, the first thing, and as I said, yeah, I'm not a data scientist at all, but I work with teams of them. So yeah, one thing would be like I would say, not data scientist, but as in any other thing, like if you want to be good at something, like put it in hours, like dedicate time, like researching, go the extra mile. Yeah, go the extra mile for the thing you like, or for the thing you want to be. Yeah, do the work like you said, or go the extra mile. I would say the biggest highlight, or the biggest bullet. And then the other one, and this is like more related to data scientists, but and I've learned like these last few months, like the being structured and methodic and all that stuff. And I think that it's a skill that for this subject, it's like very important, because otherwise you end up in completely chaos. And as there are lots of numbers, it's easy like to get lost on what you are doing. But I would say the first one, like go the extra mile and put it hours and research and learn. And yeah, that would be my main advice.
Oh, I like it. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about your username, because I just don't get it.
Okay. Yeah, Olive Possum is
it's just unique, man. I don't know.
No, well, it's the one that I used to, before I start struggling with models in Numerai, I used to spend a lot of my spare time in Quantopian.
Okay.
Yeah, basically there. Yeah, I got my first learnings in algorithmic training. I become a specialist in overfitting.
That's gold. I like that. Yeah. Specialist in overfitting. I love that. I'm going to use that as often as I can.
Yeah. And
I'm writing that down.
Good learnings there, because apart, like, I become a specialist in overfitting there when you couldn't trade in the platform.
I love that.
For some time, I was like running monthly algorithms and then trading them in interactive brokers, and it's like a lot of manual work. It's like quite messy and
brutal.
Yeah, and results, like as it was overfitting, were not expected. So a lot of learnings, little money there, but it was interesting. And for the Quantopian tournament, you get automatically assigned a name, but it's not your username.
So it's like one of those weird algorithmically generated usernames.
Yeah. For the tournament, it's like a random. You get assigned a random name. Okay,
so and it was like food marsupial.
Yeah, exactly. These kind of things. Yeah. And you check there, and everyone actually, and most of my models are called like similar. Then I start making up numbers like Red Lion or Deer Falcon or whatever. But yeah, the original one is because in Quantopian they assign you a random name like this, and I just started using it in Numerai.
Okay. Hey, you know what? That makes sense now, because I was just really confused. I couldn't see the connection. and I thought I'd ask, and I'm sure people would have asked anyway. So I hope I did a service there.
Yeah,
This is
'cause-
weird though. There's like no questions in Slido. I think it's only one of two times maybe in the whole time, but there is a question for you. It gets a little political, so I'm not going to ask the second half, but are you Catalan? I guess that was one of the questions that
yes.
the answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then yeah, so that was the question in Slido. They were just curious what part of Spain you were from, and yeah, so that's all of the Slido questions. Michael Oliver, by the way, I should tell you, our friend Mark here gave you a vote for favorite team member. Yes, I think you and NJ are in the running. I have to go back and look.
I think that's 2 for me. I'm not even.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and look anyway. I forget. NJ's racked it up this time. I think I'm gonna have to do a recount. So there's this little thing in RocketChat that I thought was timely, and it was about MMC. It was very latex, not very English, and I don't like to read equations. I prefer to read the abstract, and I couldn't find the abstract. So Wigglemuse was in on this too, so I'm going to pick on him as well. And it was about MMC being basically clipped because of the number of people submitting models. That was the gist of it. And I believe that the person was saying that the explosion in models has punished aggregate MMC. I'm not buying it because there are so many people basically using the example model that there isn't enough differentiation for that to be the problem. So, Wigglemuse, can you tell me where I got that wrong, if I got that wrong?
Well, I think it's more theoretical than anything. It's just explaining. I didn't bring it up, but it is sort of related to what I was saying a week ago or so, in that if you get more and more users, the meta model is going to get better more or less automatically. And we were talking about, if they're going to have any more watershed innovations, is somebody really going to crack this data set in a big way or something? And even if nobody does, even if everyone does more than just submit the examples, but just sort of does basically the same stuff that everyone's doing, but in their own way, it's all a little different. The meta model will get better, but it's not like a linear thing. It goes up with a few number of users, and then it plateaus to a limit, flattens out. And where we are in that curve, who knows? But what he's saying about MMC there, I don't even know if that's true because I'd have to run through the actual simulation, but it's basically saying the same thing. If you get to, as you add more users, the magnitude of MMC overall plus or minus might tend towards 0 because of various equation there. If that's true, but he didn't even quite understand how MMC was generated when he said that. So I was explaining how that works. Whether that makes a difference, I don't know. And whether it makes a difference in real life, no, not at this time. And if it does, as Mike P just pointed out, they're adding an MMC slider. So if you don't like your percentage, you can double it pretty soon. So the ability to scale your own MMC will completely remove any such problem.
So let's pick on Michael Oliver. He's smiling. Good. You should be smiling because this is all good. Have you read that thread, and do you have anything to offer for us, please?
I was just reading it right now.
Excellent.
I agree with everything William you said. I don't think it's practical. Someone actually, a Japanese person asked about this, just noting that the variance of MMC seems to be going down. And it seems to me that as users get better, that could be true. That there's fewer people having things that get crazy high and crazy low MMC due to people being better on average. And I think that's what might be driving the change in variance, which is a good thing overall. But I think it's not clear to me, for the reason people said that, as the things go to infinity, that it would go to 0. I don't know if that's necessarily true. And even if it is, the population of Earth is probably a much smaller number than infinity. In any case, like limits that go to infinity to prove things often don't practically matter. It's all matters about how quickly they approach things. And so, yeah, even if it was true mathematically, I don't know if it has any practical meaning.
Right.
I think we're seeing less Mad Men type models too that are just going crazy. There was a time, I can't remember if it was in this version of MMC, the previous one, where we occasionally saw somebody just got a crazy high score and they would get an MMC like 0.2 or 0.3. I mean, there were a few of those, but it's been months.
I haven't seen anything like that in the leaderboard in a long time.
Well, we've been through some like harder periods where people doing such kind of exploitive or just bad strategies can get pretty wrecked. And so people are seeing the error of their ways.
You mean the burn does what it's supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's the great equalizer. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I think with the multiplier, and it's going to go both ways. You can go to 0.5 or 2, which should be coming very, very soon.
Very soon, as in Saturday.
I think possibly. I mean, basically, I think there's a pull request that just needs to be merged.
I'm gonna start squeaking.
So it's just there's for internal review right now, but it's very close.
Excellent. Yes, excellent. So now we also have a full 4 open rounds of Nomi only. That means the meta model is no longer considering Kazutsugi. Couldn't that have impacted MMC in those early Nomi rounds because we had Kazutsugi information bleeding over, and so they weren't quite as unique? This is pure speculation, and I just
I think it's done per round, so I don't think it matters.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Doesn't matter which rounds are open.
Yeah.
Right. So they're independent in that sense. They're not quite overlapping. Okay, that answered that question. So you see, Mark, it's okay to ask the dumb questions because, I may have the rank 5 model. Actually, I have 3 in the top 15. And I may be very good at the tournament, but it doesn't mean I know anything. Right. And so I famously say I don't want to know anything about the data because I think it will make me worse. And that's why I say that expertise is not required, merely that you do the work and have the intellectual curiosity to pursue. Also related, Michael Oliver, I was speculating on a timeline for the staking modality change, and I suggested that today was a great day to launch it.
Yeah. So
He laughed at me.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but the stake change modal, the interact has actually already changed.
Let me look at that. So we got to manage stake. Oh yeah, it does look different.
I changed the stake yesterday. It didn't look different. Was it today?
I think it happened last night.
It has changed since I added it.
And so in that drop-down menu, there will soon be 2 more options.
Nice. Nice. Big fan.
This is what I saw, except with less options. I think, there was a strategy tab. How do you want your winnings to be reallocated back into stake or to your wallet? And then I told them to change some buttons and stuff, which we'll see once you start filling in those fields.
Yeah, I don't know if the reallocation is going to be coming as soon. There's some problems that make it difficult.
No doubt.
We just don't want you to be, it to be possible to go negative or things like that. There's a lot of edge cases that we are.
I bet. And that the users will find it.
Yeah.
And then they will exploit it. So no, I get it. It's cool. But that's good. It means it's on the way. But you won't give us a timeline, like not today.
Yeah, that's the MMC multiplier is coming first for sure.
But so that's today. But then the next thing is tomorrow.
I don't know about today, but soon.
See, I'm trying. Hey, look, I tried.
It could be today. I would not be surprised if it was today.
I'll just say maybe for the next round, because technically you have to Thursday morning, like 6 days to sort that out if we were to make any changes, unless you're coinciding that with all of our changes have to be in by Sunday.
I don't think that's changing right now.
No problem. Just speculating, of course. Just speculating. So the stake change, though, then that means if it's not tomorrow, it's Saturday for sure.
That's
The stake change.
The stake change. Yeah, I don't think any of the timing is changing yet. Yeah.
No, I meant like the stake modality, the whole thing. You'll ship that Saturday, right?
It's I'm not.
I'm trying really hard here. I am. I'm trying so hard.
It's
NJ's like, John, leave him alone.
I'm just like, Mike, you can like mute yourself. You want.
Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'll stop now. So thanks for being a good sport, though. Thanks for being.
What time of day will that be?
Yeah.
What bird is that?
Yeah. What is that?
That's a Stellar's jay.
Oh wow, I've never seen.
They're that one's from Colorado. They're aggressive, sort of parking lot crumb-eating birds in certain parts of Colorado.
So this is what Harsh made. I think you can...
Oh no, it's oh there you go. Yeah, put it.
Oh, nice.
Wow, he's good.
He's amazing.
Wow.
And it's my current favorite bird, which is a California scrub jay. They're like super intelligent and
they are.
Remember like 200 cache locations of food and decay rates, and they recognize people and stuff. So it's
brilliant.
a pretty nice gift. So I'm a huge fan of your backgrounds, Wiggle Mute.
Take it to Michael's and they'll frame it for you. They do really, really, really good framing.
Here's a weird blackbird you can buy from my shop.
Oh, this is the promotion phase.
I will buy birds from your shop. Yeah. Don't get me started.
Jeremy wants to know, Wiggle Muse, what's your favorite birding lens?
I'm not a big birder, but if you see a bird, you got to take a picture of it, right? I mean, it's just natural when you're a photographer. Thanks
for tuning in for all these episodes. And Michael Oliver, you didn't get flogged this week and you didn't even do it to yourself. So I think we've past it. We're good to go now, my man. Congratulations. And you got a vote today. So all that. Mark, thank you for joining me. NJ, thanks for coming on. Oh, I'm very happy that you could hop on. You're always welcome, by the way. And I'll see you in Rocket Chat tomorrow. I'll see everybody again for Daily Scores and Chill. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day.